What is up, everybody? It is Alex, the Boogeyman here. Now that the 4th of July is over, we have no more major holidays until Halloween, so I'm dressing up a little bit for this focus point. And just as Halloween is the most important holiday, this week we're gonna focus on the most important punch in all of boxing. It is the jab. Now, as the jab is the most important punch, we also have the most varieties of jab, and this week we're gonna work on 10, count them, 10 different types of jabs to throw. Now, luckily, most of them are the same mechanics you're used to. They're not too tricky, so I'm gonna run through them all real quick. The first one is one we do a lot, I like it a lot, is the jab to the body. The important things are that we bend our knees, we drop down, we shift our weight to this back foot. So I'm dropping down, bringing the weight here, rotating the shoulder, stabbing, if you will, right through the belly. Now you want to land this right as you drop down, so you can actually get some of that weight into the punch. Next is very similar. We're gonna get down low, but instead of throwing the jab to the belly, I call it a rising jab, some people have other names for it, you're going to the face, even as you're dropping down. So your opponent might think, oh, the jab's coming low, you're dropping down and throwing it right to the face. And just like the jab to the body, you want it to land right as you reach your lowest point, so you get those in sync. The third jab variety is very similar again. It's called the woodchuck jab. Now, woodchucks, if you don't know, they're groundhogs. They live in the ground, they come out and they steal your vegetables. In this case, we're gonna be the woodchuck. We're gonna get down low. Our opponent thinks, oh, maybe we're gonna punch low, but we're gonna stand up and punch at the same time. So you're actually getting more power because you're punching off the ground and you're landing that jab as soon as you come up and you're burrowing down into your hole with your vegetable. Number 4 is the slip jab. So kind of like it sounds, you are slipping and jabbing simultaneously. Now generally, we're going to slip to our rear side as we throw our jab. So it's a little bit kind of like you're throwing a jab to the body. You don't necessarily have to go to the body. You're moving your head offline and jabbing at the exact same time. So hopefully your opponent throws a jab coming at you and you're slipping offline and landing that jab. Next is what I call the thumbs up jab or the splitter jab. Now this is one, you've heard me talk about this maybe before. You can throw all your jabs like this if you want to. It is the thumbs up jab. You can see the jack-o'-lanterns are still facing the camera when I throw this jab. Now, every boxing coach always says, oh, you gotta have the palms down when you throw those jabs across this. You actually don't. You can throw a pretty good jab, pretty powerful jab, without turning your hand at all. Now, what this does is it can be a little faster because some people turn their hand too early and their elbow comes out. It also, if somebody's got their gloves up, that splitter jab can go right through the gloves. So that's why we call it the splitter. Next is the uppercut jab, and it's kind of like it sounds as well. It is a jab that is coming up, and this time you're actually turning your palm all the way up. So you're going underneath somebody's chin like an uppercut, but instead of having a bent elbow, you're extending your arm all the way. Some people call this a screw jab as well. Some people say it can split the guard, but really if you're like this, it's not really that different than that. I would do the thumb up for the split, but we'll do those uppercut jabs, powerful to the chin. All right, next one is a little bit different, the posting jab. So right, we always talk about you throw that jab, you whip it, you get your hand right back. But sometimes we will use our jab hand to do stuff to our opponent so we can do other stuff to them later. So the posting jab, you're gonna throw your jab, but you're gonna leave it on their face, and then maybe you might do something like step to the right, throw across, whatever. But you're leaving that jab out there. You can also stick their hand in their face, kind of blinding them a little bit. So you throw that right hand, or do something else, move to a new spot, etc. That's the posting jab. The next one is called the snake charmer. Now, of course, there's all kinds of feints and fakes you can do with your jab, but this one is a little bit different because you're lulling your opponent into a false sense of security. So what you're doing is you're kind of waving your hand out like this. Now, your opponent might think, okay, well, that's the end of that person's range. So if I stay where I am, I'm not gonna get hit. But it's a trick. You're hypnotizing them. You go 1, 2, 3, and quickly snap that jab. And it's like, hey, wait a minute, you've got more length because you're not extending your arm, but they're thinking that's the end of your length. And really, you've got that extra bit that you can surprise them with and snap them in the face, just like a cobra coming out of the basket. All right, next, as it is summer, we have the beach towel jab. Now, you gotta be careful with this one. This one can get bad habits. You see boxers do it all the time. They can get away with it, but maybe we can't. This is where your hand is down. Again, we're breaking the rules. I always tell people, put their hands up, be safe, I'm a cautious cat. But you can put your hand down to entice your opponent to come in. Now, this only works if you're further away. If you're really close, you're not gonna be able to get it in time. So you're kind of low, and what you're doing is just quickly snapping that jab hand out, back to the bag, and then back down low. So you entice them to come in, you quickly whip it, and you can bring it back to your face if you want, or you can bring it down again, depending on how we do it, but the idea is you're keeping everything loose, snapping at, coming up and bringing it back. That is the beach towel. Of course, we saw Larry Holmes do it. Floyd Mayweather does it. A lot of boxers do it. You just got to be careful because we're letting our head stay unprotected. And then finally, we have the classic, the double jab, right? The double jab, you could say, well, isn't that 2 jabs? Not really. I like to think of it as 1 because what you're doing is you're throwing a regular jab and you're not going to bring your hand back out all the way. You bring your hand back about halfway. So it's a pop, 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 pop. The second jab doesn't mean the second jab doesn't hurt. Because again, you're getting that whip, just kind of like even with the beach towel. I don't need a lot of space to get just that little bit of pop on the jab. So it's pop, pop, nice and quick. It's not jab, jab. That's the jab, jab, not a double jab. A double jab is quick, pop, pop. Now, little bonus variation of that, you could do something we call hunter's jab or half mast, where you just keep your hand out here. So look, my hand is out away from my head, so I can get there really quickly. But I'm gonna have to really whip it to get that sting on the jab. So there you go, 10. Maybe even a bonus 11 type of jabs we're gonna work on this week. Your jab's gonna get better. You're gonna get more weapons in the arsenal, tools in the toolbox, all that good stuff, because this is how we do it. And happy Halloween season! Yeah.